This is where we are. I want to thank you. And I assure you once again that you are free to go to any quarters and find out what you need to find. This is the situation. All what we are saying, I'm not declaring myself the winner. All I'm saying is what we want is to go back to the Gambian people. And this is where I stand. Today, tomorrow, and day after. Thank you.
Disgraced conman and cult leader, Ambassador Dr. Kenneth D. Jackson, the SCEI One Blood cult leader, who now lives in relative obscurity in light of several ongoing investigations, ranging from child molestation to potential ties with terrorism, has once again publicly admitted his relationship with the puppet dictator and warlord Yahya Jammeh, president of the Gambia. In a report released by the state propaganda newspaper Daily Observer, Mr. Kenneth D. Jackson has once again revealed to the public his unwavering support for the brutal military leader Yahya Jammeh, who took the government by force during a military coup and has since been connected and allegedly responsible for corruption and state-endorsed genocide within the Gambia. Jackson once again repeated his previous statements about the safety of the Gambia and its potential as an economic power base in the region and the world. Jackson, who has claimed diplomatic status as an ambassador in 2 different countries, also claims to be God's divine leader on earth. He has also made public claims to be the single appointed global ambassador of the one true Church of God, a position which he claims to have inherited from the former Worldwide Church of God leader, Herbert W. Armstrong, who also claimed to be God's ambassador on earth and the modern-day Elijah, a position similar to Mr. Jackson's own self-claimed incarnation as a modern-day Joseph. Jackson, an American native born to several generations of U.S. citizens or slaves, claims to be a descendant of a king of West Africa and the rightful sole heir of a huge swath of West Africa encompassing the Gambia, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, 2 other countries in which Jackson tried unsuccessfully to rise to power, allegedly resulting in his general exile from those 2 places. After 2 failed attempts to set up a power base using agriculture, it seems he may now be shifting his strategy towards the manipulation of economics. In the report released last week, Jackson made reference to his first diplomatic mission, which in fact he has previously admitted had not actually been formally endorsed by the State Departments of either the Gambia, Canada, or the United States. That trip further resulted in a somewhat public humiliation when the U.S. government refused to acknowledge him at all, causing him to cancel a supposed U.S. leg of the trip, during which he was supposed to meet with top leaders in Washington, D.C. He claimed that the U.S. government had refused to properly acknowledge and formally invite him, which insulted his position of authority and meant that they would have to come begging later. This writer spent over 14 days covering the Canada trip as part of Jackson's personal entourage and was witness to a variety of dishonest claims, attempts to commit frauds, as well as a fully pre-planned murder plot to eliminate a former member of Jackson's organization. While in Canada, Jackson used multiple false claims and credentials to attempt to defraud private industry leaders to investing in massive infrastructure programs in the Gambia, including a giant floating deepwater seaport. Among those targeted by Jackson were shipping magnate Blair McKeel and equipment scrap trader Bill Van Ravensway. The murder plot was to occur at Ravensway's scrapyard on Highway 56 in Canfield, Ontario. Ravensway, Jackson's primary host and strategic partner in his own words, was during a portion of that trip incarcerated on gun charges, stemming charges levied against him as the result of Project Heist, a 5-month OPP investigation focusing on WG equipment owned by Van Ravensway. This investigation charged that Van Ravensway and his son Trevor ran a high-demand company that shipped stolen vehicles and parts out of Canada. Van Ravensway faces a total of 38 charges over the exports, altered vehicle identification numbers, forgery, and possession of a prohibited weapon. Jackson, who has also been conclusively linked to several frauds including false credentials, investment scams, and even frauds as wild as involvement with a false branch of the Knights of Malta, which was responsible for numerous frauds and subject to several criminal investigations. And among the known deceptions of Ambassador Apostle Dr. Kenneth D. Jackson are a fantastical false CV, which claims him to be a king, diplomat, ambassador, apostle, Indian chieftain, special attorney, holistic doctor, dentist, university president, and much more. The education listed on the CV include 2 defunct diploma mills in the University of Maryland of College Park, which has adamantly denied that he ever attended, including issuing a formal letter of denial. The question on everyone's mind now is, what is the real relationship between President Jammeh and Kenneth D. Jackson Sr.? Why is he claiming to be ambassador at large? Why is the state propaganda rag endorsing it? And lastly, how many more victims will be left in the wake of this man? Even as his religious cult following and making Georgia reels from the blows of the criminal trial of Jackson's number 3 administrator for aggravated child molestation, which extends to his own son, Smoke Jackson, and while multiple families struggle to piece together lives broken and young girls forever scarred by the sadistic abuses of Ambassador Dr. Kenneth D. Jackson Sr. and his organization, he is still at his old games, playing God with politics and further complicating geopolitical factors already at play in West Africa and the world.
The financial position weakened considerably, compounded by weak policy implementation, particularly as regards excessive spending relative to mobilization and dwindling external budgetary support. Those in power are not listening to the demands for political or economic reform. Conditions for political participation have been so crafted that political pluralism has been curtailed, generating a feeling of powerlessness among many. Too much power is concentrated in too few hands. We need a new approach to government that involves the people in decisions that affect them. Those who make the decisions on behalf of others are too often not accountable. I will restore the sovereignty of the people and impunity and decentralized authority and power. It is my fervent belief and conviction that we can bring about change for a better Gambia by directing our efforts and political capital towards one end, the singular pragmatic goal of ushering in a new and third republic that brings progress by building strong democratic institutions. As institutions, repealing the obnoxious laws that restrict our freedom and liberty, building a strong economy and leveling the political playing field so that the sovereign will of the Gambians will always prevail in their choice of leader. I am committed, if elected, to serve for 1 5-year term only, working with all those who have the capacity and the commitment to salvage the Gambia as it totters on the brink of total collapse. Nothing less than the fate of our nation and the future of our children hang in the balance. We cannot work it alone, neither can we turn back. Together we can bring the change that is needed. Principles and values need not be compromised, but strategies and tactics must be flexible enough to make progress possible, especially under the difficult political conditions we currently face. Everything I learned in my years of work with the women, men, and the youth of this country, and in academia, has convinced me that Gambians need a president that will serve them, not one that they should serve, not one that looks down on them, but a president who will uphold the constitution, the rule of law, and restore good governance. A government that will bring economic prosperity to Gambians. People want more say in the decisions that affect their lives. The old command and control and control politics, doing things to and for people but never with them, has not and will not work. True democracy does not mean voting every 5 years. True democracy requires the active participation of all citizens in planning the development programs and activities for their localities, working with their wards, village development committees, and other development committees, allowing people affected to take leadership in advancing the best interests based on the common good. Together we can stop further degeneration of our beloved country and contribute to give it a new lease of life where hope, love, and appreciation of each other, respect for fundamental freedom, dignity of the person, rule of law, and peace will thrive in an entity that is nothing other than Gambia. Ensuring ensuring that nobody is victimized on the basis of tribe, religion, or political affiliation. For this is the true nature of the Gambian people. Gambians face a dire situation with the APRC regime, and every Gambian has a story to tell. But I urge you to muster courage and stand so that we can make the Gambia better. I seek your support in our quest to bring the Gambia out of isolation, to build bridges and linkages with people of other nations in partnership that safeguard, protect, and promote the interests of the Gambia as a sovereign state. Gambia's interest is best served by engaging with other nation states and being part of the wider international community. I want us to live across the harsh desert and the wide Mediterranean. The Gambia needs you most now of all times as nation builders and agents of change to build a better Gambia for us all. The belief that the APRC cannot be defeated by election is a misconception that works in their favor. Your votes can defeat the APRC and your...
Menka kilo sabu dulal to a kemele benton la jang da ledi kemele betol bu mezi mol kelandi yelo e bom mol ye fa bare ala ko si sewta wulla la kilo kan ni si boji tole Allah hakil maya gambian ko ngat na ala tental bu bak ala bu ka jinan kadiya bare ninga be kukela ka tama zero lenti nyin ye njahalin de la marlo koleata aketa marlo me alon ko fitno tamma damma wala be gambian ko kan abi bola nyamen ay jagali nan na fere ndimul fay nyo kan na ko ken seta nga kata ko ke ko buka tamano ba ni ku wato mansi abuka ken yinan ndaranje kule ko non dol fon mala keta nyami dinni wol wulta finti tambe do ko dol fon mambakala dalilo me fintindi ke kuya koytandi banko la ali loi bunda be nyaadi be kate fay bunda be tinyanti nyanda opposition UDP nkan kodi kate fayola mbuka ke ba dalilol katina loi le tinyata loi le men kate fayo tinya ko nga fere ke ngaw loi le folo dada pour kaje ko kate fay seno setono mo be da stamento bari masoto kandu loi kurungole kadine tum ka kanyeno ngayine kata fero kono kaytol safeta pati woro yajele yin coalition moli meta kata kande kaytu bal safeta on bukolti ka fo en tol ko ngayi singa kachanga bangola loi regle isaje fitna kana so Gambia kandu fitno na nin kuruya lokuta bankola aka fitno lo wudu bari masatu nola ngal meeting kanin pour AIC en commandi bar AIC te fambu independent tole be kunna barite fambul mo kilo leta o mo kilo wala baro be katara wala imam hani burkan kuma ni ngaka jani kunna sa fele ngam kodi karte fay dola do kana yine dinni wol pass kuma ra linga fil design ngata do dunia na bangolu al man beja ngie fali ar apo ke karte fola tout am limita nin fonko ye wala ki finta be do kon wata ala wato fela shitiat inyapite kam ne kabaji wato tey tikani mbanko do ni ko nyuni elu wala tinya nyanto ye muta ye samba yete kitindi bari hani mo ke itade samba enaye ye dinno fa dol be jewul be ko le akono nyinen dol fintindi bawo bitin say ndaka de jaw bili waru may mo fa bi dol fa wuli wato sita nyine wulindi ko sayende kufula de kukilin dol sulawa kufula ni arni nyin dinno go balori ya finde men ngaji nata balori ya dinna ngata ngasura vinda mbedo ko ngatu balero lumuta ko dunia so sa kala mo ngalo ko dunia balani na journalist wala folo kuman usene jiwa ko ay samodante wuro kumata ko nyin dinno ye buta ara misalon arji manuma fata ko ratu to le afa o so say yirna frodi ni fure nyinenga amisalo mendi namo ka to da baro mendi na badal ba na furo na kula da bidunga kalanga na wole ke ko yo ke kaso din kuma da nyin ko kun fa da bedal ko na furo ya din na kendo wara a fago iko ngalu wala tinya ye mo lu